Okay, let's see if the shield can do the same work on full party zest. We put the curse, we put the spear down.
The creeping dark of unburdened thought.
Yep, the perfect, aka most optimal version of Bleed Blood Mage. 6-man party bossing, easy. Mapping, easy. Tier 4, Simulacrum, easy. There's not a single content that's hard. You can do everything with this build, and there is plenty room for your own tinkering with the build. If you don't aim at flexing in front of 5 of your friends, killing the boss in a one-shot, you're gonna be fine with like 100 divines to do whole everything completely easy mode. But of course, if you're gonna invest 4 mirrors, it's gonna become pretty obnoxious. But really, do not expect anything to be cheap when the ratio of 1 divine is 1.2k exalted orb. And just to truly see how fucked the economy is at the moment, 1 mirror of Kalandra is 2.5k divine orbs. So find one and your build is gonna be more than just god mode. But let's take a look on my items. I got Tangletoe that I paid 45 divines for. This was like probably 1 divine. This was also like 2 divines. I just got lucky with the corruption for the 3rd socket. I didn't buy it with the 3rd socket. That was the most expensive part of the build, and it's not even done because all the suffixes have to go to be replaced into something way better than they are now. Well, I bought like 10 shields and I got the block chance, so well, that was 20 divines, but you can buy corrupted already one with block chance. But I'd suggest you trying your luck with a bit corruption before you try to buy straight up corrupted one. But what you need is to have 32 block chance on the shield. That's what's very important. Well, the gloves I bought for 55, but I whittled them, although once. Sadly, Fracture Orb didn't help much, but here we are. My gloves are just not corrupted, no melee ranks, sadly. Just this. I would replace rarity, because mostly I play with rarity bot anyway, so... the only 1 ring is really needed, so the other is just how much you're gonna pay for Kalandra's touch. The prices dropped heavily, so, well, only 1 really good ring is needed. Ingenuity, like the biggest whatever, you can use Headhunter and other. The boots I just kinda like bought for whatever and tried the corruption. I think I can show you even like how many boots I have trying to get the 2nd socket corruption. Same with the heads. Here I have replacement if I wanna get rarity myself. Helmet is the best option for the 50. By the way, to everyone who want to copy my skill slot rings, don't get trolled like I did. Kalandra does not reflect for some reason the grant 1 additional skill slot. It is sad, but it is what it is. I just rather get another ring like this than Kalandra when it comes to skill slot ring, but I learned how to live with it. I think you just need 1 extra skill slot, let's be honest. If you don't want to swap anything for mapping, bossing, 1 all-in-one is just the perfect for me, so I just roll with that 1 extra skill slot ring. And well, I really wish I had the other one, but it is what it is. I got gifted beautiful amulet, but I had very good one that I have for sale, if anyone wants, you know, a little advertising for my own business here, in game. 160 divines for 3 melee skills, crit chance, intelligence, life. I sadly got those prefixes to get rid of, but at least the most important max life is locked. And I have very similar one. Here I just have percentage max life on top of that and critical damage instead and all attributes, which is just purely beautiful and big. Thanks for who knows who give me it, so thank to you. And well, that's what you need on amulet. Some life don't need the percentage, need the flat. Some attributes, critical damage or critical hit chance, but you need the melee skills, because that is probably gonna be the easiest item to get some melee ranks, because you only need to nail like 2 maybe other modifiers, 3 and something else that's not that garbage, you know, that's all you really need. But for the gloves and for the ring you need triple flat damage, preferably that you always have the lightning, and then cold, fire, physical, doesn't matter, just to have triple flat as high as possible. Just get always like lightning. The lightning is just the biggest damage, right? And it has shock, everything. Lightning is just the most broken. I have Calamity, because I wanted to use Calamity. I wanted to get 3 heralds, 3 skill slots, and the enemies in your presence have no elemental resistances. It's just really, really nice, and I don't really wanna now get used to working around it, so I just keep this, and I put the new runes with 30% of damage is taken from mana before life, because it's just free 30% damage reduction. beautiful for the build, makes us so much tankier than we already were. And now, instead with the scepter, we going out with the shield, which is making us even tankier. And as you can see, we want to cap the chance to block, so that of course makes us even further tanky. It's just insane how much tankier this build became. I keep using my poison helmet everywhere because I'm for some reason in stupid love with it, but you can use anything else. You can use rarity, you can use whatever on the helm, whatever you need at the moment. Crit chance, attributes, doesn't matter. Maybe spirit, you can use alpha's hull then. Doesn't matter that much. All that matters is to have anything equipped. And tangle though, people keep asking me 2 sockets or crit. I go with crit because it's so much easier on everything in the passives and stuff to get 100% crit, and I just have this in head that I need to have like 100 on the crit chance, and I just cannot like live if I don't have it, so that's what I'm aiming for. So you want 2 sockets, go for 2 sockets. You want damage of all elements, you want critical damage, doesn't matter. The defense is so small and you're so far from needing any more damage. You just saw random attempt with shield on the 6-man boss disappears. And if you put like the variation with deepest tower that I have here, I will put the mobalytics for the deepest tower variation, then, well, you will see very, very stupid numbers of DPS. Although you gotta remember that stuff like Rake and its bleed the DPS, it will never, anything will not even be remotely close to be properly reflected on this, so don't really look on those numbers, they are quite irrelevant. Cause max you will see on the Rake is 150 when I killed Zesht, and he has like 300 mil plus HP, so really don't trust those numbers. One last thing I need to mention before I forget it again is the weapon set to shield. Doesn't matter the weapon does not matter, the shield matters. We either wanna use the 55% skill effect duration for the comfortable curse duration, because that's the only thing we really use off of the weapon set too. I mean, I also use Infernal Cry and Voltaic Mark, you can just do whatever you really want. As long as the curse is down, the build is working, so that's what's important. But you can also use this to get double power, which in turn will make our Infernal Cry to always instantly stack up to full, so you won't have to double cast it. You will get all the rage and everything instantly up to full on the boss, because the boss will count double power, so we will be way behind the needed threshold to cap out everything that's needed here. And to the fact which one's better, it's completely up to personal preference. I tend to swap in between them. And many people also ask me why I use the as extra chaos rune. Well, because whenever I did the expeditions, I could lock out more types of damage. I could lock out physical and all elementals because I always had some chaos left. As long as I didn't lock out critical hits on the monsters, I was fine like that. So that's why it also scales my poison. Why do I fuck around with that poison? I don't fucking know myself, but chaos damage scales for the poison. As you can see, where is the poison? Poison contributes to poison chance, that's irrelevant, physical and chaos damage from hits. So all the rake damage, you get all your elementals contribute to its physical damage, but whenever you explode it with Bloodhunt, well, that's always a crit, as you can see here. And that's also full physical damage, plus some added from Bloodhunt, which will also add some ignite and some deadly poison. Why do I keep it like this? Because I want to have that fact in my head, back in my head, whenever I explode Zesht, that he would die so many more times over because of the stupid poison and the ignite, and then I can just fully call my bleed mage just the OT mage, damage over time. And that's just a kink, just because how broken this build is, I can do this basically. But to be fair, the best thing is yet to come, since we already got so much more tanky due to the runes, due to the shield. Now, on top of everything else, we also getting our gold charm, because the prices also dropped a lot. And for example, the one I use with Spirit of the Boar, when we get possessed, aka when we kill a rare, and that charges insta, like this is permanent on a map, we get 20 extras fire, always inflict bleeding, that is the biggest wherever, those two, but then we get 20 reduced damage taken. Of course I'd prefer the movement speed one, but that still holds the price quite, yeah, I'm gonna stick with my extra, another 20 reduced damage taken. It's just beautiful. But to be fair, just to be original, but not to use the poison helmet, not to use the deepest tower, nor the coral helmet. I'm gonna use the new Mind of the Council Death Mask that gives attacks added lightning damage, maximum lightning damage, equal to 9% of maximum mana. I think you can corrupt it to like 11, maybe 12. So even with 1k mana, it's a solid addition to our lightning damage, which can also get converted here on Herald with Embiter to get even more cold. But instead of dexterity, we have very nice options here actually, like Talisman of Egrin, which gives us 5% increased damage taken on the enemy we cares, or Soul Cores, like the Soul Core of Flow, that gives us skill effect duration and cooldown recovery rate, which are both just great options, but it's all up to what you really want. But with all the new runes, it comes up to the point like what you really need, because like on gloves, 5 to 12 physical damage to attacks is literally like when you want your build to be universal, because you could just use the new rune that gives you magnitude of damaging or non-damaging ailments, depending on what you really need at the moment. But 5 to 12 physical is kinda like universal. You're gonna get good benefit on map with it, you're gonna get good benefit on boss. It can't hurt you, especially if you have 2 of them with that Essence of Horror. Then this gets crazy value, but just as this one. 60 magnitude, those, the new stuff is actually, so many of them is good and so hard of like what you really want to pick. But it's it comes down to like personal preference, because the build will do fine even without any socket, even if you need to fill out some resistances. So just quickly gonna flex the build to remind you what you're watching for. There's Lance. We wait for him to be activated for the full effect. Voltaic Mark, double Infernal Cry, and now Rake. Now, before we even show the Zesht on solo, we just gonna quickly showcase you how to face tank the breach. To clear it, we just go into the monsters so they can hit us, and that's how we clear them up. Just be in the range, just like that, and that's pretty much what you can do for the whole breach. Monsters here, monsters gone. But yeah, let's skip to Zesht. But all these scares and lands on the ground you can skip completely when you solo. All you can do is just, I don't know, Infernal Cry, now Rake, Blatant, and that's plus minus how much you do when you don't really care. Although we are not playing low life build or anything, we are actually using shock on this build, so not putting any shock for the initial value of damage is a big damage nerf to all of it. So this just shows you how powerful the build is. Without shock at start, doing this kind of damage is just absurd. Arbiter is obviously by far the trickiest of the bunch in terms of the bosses, because he got this nasty damage reduction when he emerges. So you gotta wait it out, slowly, patiently setting up your damage before you press your Rake, since bleed will scale with the first hit. So if the first hit is bad, aka like without shock for example, the damage is not gonna be that much. So we just put it, wait slowly, we double Infernal Cry in peace, now he finishes it, now we Rake, and we finish him off. Now he's gonna be phasing, we just gotta time it up.
Is written in ash.
Yeah, I didn't time it up, but it's fine. All I wanna say is I wouldn't have to do a single hit afterwards if I had my poison helmet, but everyone just insisted for me to try this one, so I'm kinda like enjoying it, but I have an idea actually. Let's say it's fixed, and to put in words how much it's not needed is beyond me, so you can even put an empty slot here. But I'm gonna roll my poison, cause I got addicted to it, and since new helmet is new helmet, it is what it is. And I'm just basically trying to emphasize on how little it matters how perfect your build is made, because it's gonna be broken, no matter what. So don't really wonder about it much, it's gonna be really good if you just focus the baselines of the build. And if you're wondering how this build deals with tier 4 Simulacrum, I don't even know why. Because it's probably the best ascendancy possible for this mold, which kind of makes it completely free. You can just tank the bosses, like not much can happen to you really. And you can also press the lightning spear and just clear it out wipe out the complete room with them. It's like completely up to you how you wanna deal with them. If you wanna keep it safe, because you struggled before, you can just press lightning spear. You can storm lance, so whenever they spawn and try to jump on you, they're just getting erased. Remember, if you press the spear under you, you will like kill like they will stuck with salvo on. So here, hit me. Remember that this shit has range, so the ranged guys has to be on you. See? Just let them hit you, and it should be fine. By the way, 18 armor, no evasion. Some evasion, I guess, from the dancer. 166 energy shield. To anyone telling me that this build's not tanky, yeah? It is tanky. And if you invest into being tanky, it's gonna be tankier. That's like the only difference, really. So, let's see on the last wave. How do we do here? Just put deckers. You can put stormlands under you. And just make it... let's make it very safe here, yeah? Like, properly play it a bit for the last wave. Why not? Oh, bosses spawned, bosses despawned. Mobs despawned again, and again, and again. This is so simple. But let's go over the rest of the build. Ooh, diamond. I quickly need to mention a small detail that people tend to forget. Remember, your charms with guard effect for the stone one, they are insanely broken in terms of your survival. If you're using the freeze one and the stun one, just gain guard on both of them. That's very important for your survival, for everything. This is just an amazing added layers of tankiness for free, because there's nothing really else than those two effects on the charms that you can be really using. The unique stone charm, useless, but I'd say stone charm normal, mandatory. It's just too good to pass on, especially that it gives you that 450 guard. Just why not? And second thing is, people tend to forget that we're using on Rake, on all the iterations ever I'm gonna be making for the Rake, Ambrosia and Concord. And that consumes 20% of your max charges from your flask. That's why you need minimum 120 charges. And that means you just need the increased charges on both of them. 120 is minimum. You don't need to get the max roll, it's like barely any gain. But compared to the 75 of baseline you can get on them, it's huge difference. So get minimum the 120 from the increased charges. It's a suffix, yeah. The easiest way to put it is 120 charges means we're gonna get 24 charges consumed. 75 means we consume 15. So you have 60% extra lightning versus 96% extra lightning. And same goes for the magnitude of bleeding. And right before I go around the skills and support gems, I want to give you the alternative items to remind you what you can be using instead. And the option for helmets are the Spirit Bone Deepest Tower. It's like for the maximum possible damage. It's like really broken nodes. I will have the mobilitics, as I said, for this, because you gotta pick up the low life nodes, or preferably have Megalomaniac for them, but it's another world of how expensive it could go. And if you want more spirit, you can be using Alpha's Howl, amazing option for 100 spirit. Shield for the weapon set 2, for either skill effect duration or doubling the power. So the bosses would have like 40, which will give you way more rage and everything for your Infernal Cry. Normal helmet, if you don't want the mask or any other. That gives you rarity perhaps, subcrit, lightning res, but you will need max life whenever and wherever you can. And the Adsax, if you wanna fuck around with the poison as I did before. Alternative like spirit, corruption on it, 2 sockets, doesn't matter. Just try to get like the attributes and the crit chance as high as possible. The boots, just resi, some attributes perhaps, mana, life. The best options. I don't think it's unless you're really stuck in for Harris for the evasion, because it's like chest alternative for like fully tanky style, like you're gonna evade everything with it, yeah? So you would probably need the evasion then instead, max life and mana. But I would suggest you to just try like 2 sockets for the 10% movement speed, preferably if you get the double effect of the socketed stuff on it, so you get 20% movement, 55 altogether, and well, that's how all the boots gonna be looking like. Some rarity, some resi, some attributes, 35 movement of course, and life, mana preferably. Like I don't need the resistances at the moment, so I have boots like this. Not the best rarity, but it is what it is. Only normal flasks, no unique ones. They are just not having the enough charges, and unless you really insist on having the Orlot one, but no need. I swear this build is tanky enough. For the charms, you can use. I think I have most of the charms, as you can see, like all the alternatives. So Stone Charm is like mandatory. I'd say how broken the unique golden charm is, so if you can afford, it's mandatory. Spirit of the Boar is one of the damage reduction ones, but I think it was Wolf, Cat, and Stark that gave you movement speed and skill speed, which are just so amazing. Quality of life, wish I had one, but really no currency, because I want to make one more build after this, which is completely different than the Bleed Rake. It's not gonna be Spear, that's one thing, so I gotta save up a bit. But the Onslaught, as you can see, like up to what you really need, but I'd say the unique golden charm and normal stone charm with the guard, really important. I'd say like a must have. For the belt, Headhunter, Ingen, like whatever you prefer. The belt doesn't matter that much. Ingen's probably like the most damage you can get, but Headhunter is like people just love it. I don't know, I hate Headhunter because reasons. I have my reasons for it. I hate that one shot walk stuff, and that's why I'm not gonna be using it. Kalandra's ring is amazing because you can get Dusk ring, like 4 times flat damage, plus, I don't know, like let's say attributes, elemental resi, whatever you would have on suffixes. If you had quad tier 1 flat damage on it, it's just insane. And then you only need one, which is a mirror price ring, mirror plus honestly, but then you just need the Kalandra that dropped crazy on the price to mirror it. Sadly, it doesn't mirror the skill slot ring. Yeah, that is probably the worst possible part of it, but well, if you have like I have tier 1, tier 1, tier 2, you can just use it to mirror it. I also get like overstuck resistances and everything because of mirroring all these resistances. So Kalandra dropping on price is really nice, basically, because you only need to worry about getting one good ring. And as you can see, I'm not using Trinity nor Conflux anymore, I'm using Remnants, because I don't get the other skill slot because of Kalandra not copying the skill slot. But I use Mana Remnants mainly because of the new runes, the 30% damage taken from mana before life. Well, it's just free 30% damage reduction with Remnants overflowing your mana, just as life Remnants from our Ascendency overflowing life. Just beautiful synergy in between free 30% damage reduction, the unique charm if you have with like Boar, I think Bear, Ox, they all have like that 20% damage reduction, so another 20% damage reduction to top all of that. And now we also have Shield, so we got block, we actually take a lot of damage through the block, because we're using a lot of nodes that give us like lots and lots of block chance, but we're taking like glancing blow is already like 50% damage through the block. But still, how much damage reduction we got, even if 70% of the damage goes through the shield. I was already on mega tanky and satisfied with the build part of tankiness of it when I had Sceptre. Now, I swear to God, this build is so broken now. It's so much tankier, so much stronger. You can make it fast. You can do whatever you want with it. I will only give you like skills to have a blueprint, but you can just customize everything up to your preference. So remember, 25 increased block chance. You at least need block chance on the shields on the top of it, like here, to be 32. That's all that's important, but that's really expensive. But you're good to go with 2 sockets, with maximum block chance for maximum effect of the gain damage as fire. But basically, that's what you will be needing. The block chance preferably. I tried to corrupt my own, and that costs around 1 to 2 divines uncorrupted. It's basically free as long as people actually invite you and sell you stuff, so it's basically a free shield at the moment if it's corrupted. And as long as you don't have like much currency to care about the block chance, you can buy any. Like, doesn't really matter that much. All you need is gain 1% of damage as fire, and that will every shield has. Like, you won't really need the socket, you won't really need the quality. So if you completely on my budget and there is like someone willing to sell you this for 5 exalted, but has no sockets, is corrupted, has no quality and everything under the minimum after the corruption, you can still take it and do very, very well with it. So yeah, this is really broken. This version is really broken and really cheap. You also want to go for like as much crit, because how easy it is to like achieve 100% crit and not worry about it. And well, runes on the gloves especially, this is one thing with the gloves. You also want the 100% increased effect on socketed runes, melee skills on it, and 2 sockets. And maybe then 5 to 12 physical would be the best, but I think it still would be the best to put magnitude of damaging ailments, but I just prefer to have like benefit 4 spear on a map, and this also calculates to our bleed magnitude, just less than the percentages, but the percentages you really need on the uber bosses. So this rune is more like universal. And that's basically all. There's also like one new thing I'm using, not now because I need to fix my ring or something for my lightning res, because I just equipped this version for the lightning res, but I'm gonna be using +8 to maximum rage, and that is mainly because of berserk being an option. Once I get another skill slot ring, that is, I will get the spirit on the helmet and use only one rune for +4 and 30 spirit, so I can equip this, and I'm gonna be using the rage to get extra damage, and that's gonna increase the effect of rage. But let's go around the skills, because the upping festa can never end. Whenever I make a video, I have to like make it like 3 attempts on making it fully, because it's just so much upping that you have to go through. But you should go through it if you or you will be having questions. And basically heraldofash, you don't need any support here, because you can't put anything irrelevant. I have fire mastery heal, but it's like as my extra back slots. Herald of Ice, we have Biting Frost, Elemental Focus, Electrocute, and Cold Mastery. So damage, 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 and making the lightning part of it to contribute to Electrocute. So we get Frenzy Charges nice and fine on Simulacrum, because there is problems with freezing the enemies there. And on Herald of Thunder is basically a freezing machine because of Embiter. Ice Bite and Innervate here to gain extra damage to all abilities and to the Thunder as well, but the Lightning gonna be converted into further Cold, which will help us freezing all the time for the Frenzy on a map. And Lacerate or whatever you wanna put here, Lightning, I don't know, whatever you wanna put here, +1 to Lightning, or doesn't really matter. Those don't matter. Spear Stab, Spear Throw, not a single loadout on my mobilities matter on these skills. Life Remnants, we have Interlude and Magnetism, and also we go down here, I put Dissipate into Mana Remnants. So I have both increased effects on both Remnants, but for the more important Remnants I have Magnetism. Wish I could use on both, but yeah. Lightning Spear, I decided finally my favorite 5, which is Martial Tempo, Perpetual Charge, Fork, Twofold, and of course Vault. Well, we want as many Frenzy Charges. We only want to use Lightning Spear with Frenzy Charge because of how much bonuses we get on it. Twofold, double the bonuses. Oh my, that's the only way here. Fork, just to clear, like, to be more sure that the one spear gonna clear the screen, basically. The DPS here is irrelevant, because the DPS should be 1 screen per 1 spear. That's what we wanna get. So whenever you're in Simu, don't be lazy ass, move, because we need to start the voltaic charge, and that's for meter traveled, so that's that, and martial tempo, so we can throw it faster. Blood Hunt here doesn't really matter much, because it's all about exploding the rake bleed, so in itself Hunt doesn't do that much, other than exploding the rake, but well, I have physical mastery, primal effect, concentrated effect, I mean blindside, close combat, because I just wanted to put some damage on it, basically. It's like the only reason. And here, very important, Abriosia, Concord, remember, that's why we need the flasks, deep cuts, well, I mean, self-explanatory, more bleeding, 75 of it is just, well, 30 more critical damage, so more, remember, is the good wording, 602 into 783. Just irreplaceable on a weapon that doubles your critical damage as well. I have 100 crit chance as well, and momentum, because it synergizes with the quality we have on the rake anyway. And in Infernal Cry, we have Raging Cry, Second Wind, Premeditation, Enraged War Cry, and Dazzling Cry. This one doesn't really matter. You can preferably put Inspiration here, to be fair, because we're not gonna be using Daze anyway yet, but that's because of levels. And, well, Raging Cry, we get Rage per 5 power, that's why the other shield, that's why we can get Rage and the Berserk for extra damage on boss, but also the Rage can be constantly benefiting us on a map because of Catalysis and our Charm that grants us up to maximum Rage, so this is how you get Rage on a map, and this is how you get Rage on the boss. We have Second Wind, because we want to use it twice. First time to get the Rage, and second time for Enraged Warcry to consume that Rage to empower the Rake even further. And, well, that's Premeditation, just another 15% damage buff to the ability empowered by Infernal Cry. Very important for the boss to be in the range of your Infernal Cry. Very important to use Cry on a correct moment, when the boss is actually active, when he's being able to be hit by your abilities, because only then it counts like he is in your presence. Whenever he like empowers, regenerates his energy shield, he's not active yet. Stormlance, Blind, Overcharge, Commiserate for the shock effect and putting the Blindside on Bloodhunt, remember, stuff like this. Persistence, so it's longer, and Salvo, so we instantly send couple of Stormlances. And the way we do it, we walk up under the boss, aiming under our character, then we press Stormlance. Because if you don't do that, Salvo will make it just fly in random places. If you just stay here and you wanna throw it there, yeah. That's why we aim it under us, then we always get it stacked. Very simple. It just curse into Lance, and both these abilities just wait for the boss to be active. The moment boss is active, Infernal, Voltaic Markham, and Rake. And the boss is completely annihilated. And on Voltaic Mark we also have Single Out for the armor break, and those are just placeholder. Yeah, Inspiration was here, and I will actually put it there because I don't need it. And well, Lightning Mastery we could as well put instead the bleed. We can, I don't know, like, doesn't really matter here. Those couple things. Combat Frenzy, Profusion, a very simple way of getting our frenzy charges up. Wind Dancer, well, Lacerate's good here, I guess, because it's what makes us do damage with Heralds to stuff that attacks us, makes us immortal, gives us some evasion. Very important as well, because this is the whole thing that, like, enemy hit you, enemy dies. Basically, that's that. And Temporal Chains, we have Cursed Ground, Ritualistic, Expanse, Magnified Effect, and Heightened Curse. It's really important to activate the aggravated bleeding from our Ascendancy. Which curse you use, temporal and feeble, doesn't fucking matter, it's all up to personal preference. What you need is to have the boss cursed. Either blasphemy, doesn't matter. As long as the boss is cursed, is that all that matters. Doesn't matter which curse and which way you're using it, you just have to have curse or other source of aggravating the bleed. Remember that the bleed mage is defined by this node. Without this node you ain't doing shit to bosses, there is no elemental damage contributing to bleeding, there is no aggravating with the curse. You forget this, the whole build is just useless. So remember, Blood Barbs, too many people having issue with it by just not picking it, having no clue what's up. Then I look on passives and, well, the reason is obvious from the get-go. Blood Barbs, don't forget. Whatever you use else, up to you. You want some life prevented, you want to ignore armor, infinite cast duration, doesn't matter. Everything else is just optional, let's say. What's not optional is to get Blood Barbs. And the build didn't change much, to be fair. The only main changes with the shield come here, we drop this, we get Glancing Blows, we get Lay Siege, because we want to get 1% increased damage per 1 chance to block, and the other block chance we're gonna have is here, if you have the block chance. But if you don't, you want to go here and here, movement speed for blocking, perfect. You can also grab here. You could also go here, but it's a lot of damage that's gonna be going through your blocks, but it's very little passives that you need. This will be of course in description in Mobalytics to what exactly where to pick and with the different versions, but this we also pick for weapon set 2 here, the maximum rage, because this actually stays for whenever we swap to weapon set 1. So that's why I started using the rage cheesy thingy trick to test it out, and so far I love it. And we also use new anoint, and we use offensive stance. So another 1 per 1. Just insane increase of damage. 75, which is already more than even over corrupted Sacred Flame. We get that block chance. I wanted to use the shield only when I get the block chance. So we get more fire from the compared to the scepter, and then we get so much damage for the block and so much tankiness added. For very little we had to really pay for it. We had to pay a bit, but yeah, this is very important, by the way. Don't forget this one of the most important. And well, everything else is just to like, you don't need this if you have like, if you take off those 2 nodes with the crits and you still have 100 on your lightning spear, well, that basically means you don't need that. You can go for the extra lightning and chance to shock. You can drop down here to get attributes and get the extra cold and freeze build up. Everything's an option. You can also do what I was doing very recently, which is going here for the cold, but dropping to step like mist. I sacrificed a lot of other damage just to see how it feels. And I grabbed escape velocity, grabbed this node only, the 2% movement speed, grabbed this, and I grabbed this. So I dropped a lot of damage just to grab all these movement speeds here. And I borrowed the charm that gives you movement speed as Mary Spirit. And it was fun, but I just realized I myself don't really care that much about movement speed, but if you want, that's an option. And you can also top it off with using Trill Steel Inspired Great Helm to get Onslaught, or to get the Onslaught from the charm and put the Tailwind helmet on to get even more movement speed. So everything's option, because on maps, the damage we have is probably like 20 times over what we really need, so you can drop a lot of damage for mapping. And for people wondering about Megalomaniac, now there is way more flexibility, because we have shield, we want offensive stance and lay siege, lasting trauma, so many more options. If you get like some block chance, maybe parrying motion, so many more options. Like all you need is to remember you want mostly lasting trauma, very good note, that's quite far I'd say, and you want lay siege, and you want offensive stance. Why offensive stance is better than having lay siege? Because lay siege is close and you have block chance on the way. So that's why it's better to have like offensive stance and lasting trauma, and you would be sorted. If you have infinite currency or infinite luck, I don't know, you can get what you could actually get then? Overwhelming strike or whatever. Might over matter, still what I use because of the all elementals, but now I might be dropping it. But I probably won't, because it doesn't matter to me. I could drop that complete like jewel socket, doesn't really matter. So much damage this build got is insane. And now I'm tanky as well, so it's really not much needed anymore. What is needed though is those nodes, this cluster here, and this node especially here, finality, stars aligned, finishing blows, whenever you want to do the most damage with the deepest tower. But that would be preferred to have stars aligned and finality and offensive stance and lasting trauma as like your main picks for the Megalomaniacs with this build. But well, to be fair, best is to go here. It's not gonna be that many stars aligned finishing blows this cluster, and then get finality on Megalomaniac, lasting trauma, offensive stance, one of these. But you're gonna always like anoint the other one you don't have on your amulet. So if I had instead lasting trauma, offensive stance on my Megalomaniac, well, then the allocate here would be lasting trauma, of course. But yeah, that's pretty much not it looks so similar to like just some changes to the block chance basically. But is it worth to swap to the shield? Well, if you don't mind losing a bit of movement speed due to, yeah, armor being armor and lowering you a bit, then it's, oh my god, it's so much worth. It's insane. You will love it. You will love this version so much. It's more damage, more tankiness, only benefits. So if you don't mind using shields and losing 40% movement speed, go for it. 100% recommended. And people asking me about Crown of Ice, Tabula Rasa. That is just very... Tabula Rasa is just giving you nothing other than damage, yeah? We have elemental resistances, at least on the coming Calamity. Do you need to kill the boss in 1 second instead on 1.5? Well, you got to answer yourself this question, but if you want the top maximum possible damage, it's Tabula Rasa. But to get all these jewels, yeah, this is, let's say, really budget. This is not that expensive build. Tabula Rasa and the jewels alone, it's all this build won't afford it. I can tell you that much. So that's why I'm using this budget sheet. Not even deepest tower, not crown, not no, like everything here is cheap. It's more than enough, and I don't want to struggle on a map with stupid Tabula Rasa just to kill boss half a second faster, or just to kill him with one ability instead of pressing blood count after. It's cool to see people with currency doing this, because yeah, but if you want the top damage, you want deepest tower instead crown the coral ice, because it's really hard to beat Lucky. Just having more chance to get higher rolls of your damage, it's just really hard to beat. And on top of that, 120 modifier, 1 node, 120 increased damage. I mean, it's really hard to beat those numbers. 30, 30, Lucky, 30, 30, 60. 30, 30. It's so hard to beat those numbers. I swear, I don't think anything comes close. Especially that jewels with the spell damage, 15 spell damage versus, I don't know, 16 damage with spear. I think it's a little bit unfair, you know? I think normal jewels without... I don't know why people are so obsessed with the coral ice, but it is definitely not the best version, the best option for the maximum damage. Because the low life modifier and deepest tower, it's the only modifier that I could accept myself playing. I hated full life, but low life with the deepest tower on the bosses, beautiful. But I realized on map I don't fucking need it, and I really like the poison helmet. So, well, I found this one, messing around with this one now, and the rage setup, and probably gonna leave it like this, cause I wanna make completely other build. I wanted to rush this build, cause everyone was asking me constantly about this version. So here you guys go. And I'm gonna be off into making something completely different with a two-handed weapon. Just a funky fun build for the end of the league, which will not come as soon as I hoped, but that's all from me for now. So I really hope you enjoyed the ranting, the yapping fiesta for 40 plus minutes as per usual. My mouth hurts and is dry as fuck after this, just yapping and yapping about the build, constantly just trying to remember about every single detail. So I really do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, join memberships perhaps. And as always, see you on the next one.